And if you're not,
All
Sure,
right.
I'm okay with that. Woo! Thank you so much. I love the bloom in the room. This is gonna be a little spicy piece. A little disclaimer so no one gets hurt. It's gonna have mom and dad language in so many different stages. So please mind a warning for these pages. I just want to burn some cages. All right, this is called Feisty Monsoon. Our souls lay bare, intertwined in the darkness of the bedroom. The deep melody is playing loud inside our hearts. Our seething ecstasies start to bloom on the pale moon, before arousing sparks to fuel our stimulating, unclad art. Our hungry eyes fixed while feeling the tingles up our spines. We are mesmerized by inner chant. Sexual creativity is dancing in our minds. The sexual healings start to enchant. Our moist lips taste the essence of passion. The wind was kissing our exposed skin. The air is igniting our tender, intoxicating satisfaction. Our naked souls gently transcend over again. We hug ourselves for the deep embrace, deep before your surge all around. We had bitter water going down our faces. The naked rush started to be unbound with echoes of naughty sounds. Your tip of the tongue felt like a sword, gently punctured the sweet spots of my staff. My heart was engulfed in emotional words. The thoughts started to wreck my pulsing shaft. My tongue started playing on your inner succulent lips. Your legs trembled from lingering sensations. Your whole body took a little enticing trip. Your body vibrated for an inner, satisfying vacation. We quickly changed into a new steaming position. We're grinding and sliding between our bodies, our delightful, insightful, and passionate intervention. The inner adult rapture we lovely embodies. An astonishing cry was released from our lungs. We couldn't keep the upbeat loud from within. We can taste the salacious jolts enveloping our tongues. Our burning patience was wearing super thin. Your blossoms were dancing to a rhythmic beat. The sizzling wind was getting soft but tight. We felt the embers nibbling at our overjoyed feet. We kept going, going, and going with all our might. Our breaths were taken away. Our bones jumped out of our skin. Then our bells started to play what's going underway. Our souls descend and transcend over without end. The silence of the cries of feverish sex. The absence of thoughts was completely backwards. Every corner of our body started to flex from the flex. Our weak bodies started to go forward, but went downward. The staggering high went up towards our blank minds. Lustful sensation rampaged deep inside our loins. We kept riding and riding until our consciousness disinclined. The feisty energy was fueling our frantic groins. The wet pressure started to be enveloped by our soft walls. Our long, measured strokes are slowly, steadily going up. The sheer rapture bombarding our bodies made us fall. Our naked, moist bodies start to slump. Our bodies rest entwined in the quiet of the room. Our pumping hearts swell like swollen balloons. Our loins and parts went boom. The days quietly and quickly resume. Our sexual high flowed throughout the crimson sky. We had reached a holy peak. What a surprise as we saw the orange sunrise. The luminous sunlight started to leak. Our bodies remained motionless and still. Our hands grasped each other with the warm sheets, the escaping of chills and thrills. That was news of our comfortable retreat. Thank you.
oh my. Bringing the heat, warming us all up.
Yes.
Woo!
Out, let's
That's
go.
Woo!
fantastic.
He's so sweet, right? But then he starts reading, you're like, okay, Eddie. Good to know.
It's like a
Thank
Sour
you
Patch
so
Kid, but alternative. At first he's sweet, then he's spicy.
spicy. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us and coming out to support our events. I appreciate you in so many ways. Thank you so much. Stick around because if we have a round two, we'd love to hear from you again if possible. Okay, Lee, who is next on the deck?
We got Bernadette.
Let's hear from Bernadette. Hopefully
Alrighty.
it's working.
Kind of switching gears here. That was very spicy. Hot, hot, hot. Right. Slovenia. But this particular one was written when I was kind of a squid when it came to standing up for myself in relationships. So that's kind of the backstory with this one. It's called High Priestess, the High Priestess. Okay. Let me hold on. Let me put this so you can actually see me here. Hold on. Great. All right. The High Priestess. A woman's intuition is a mystery. Mysteries to men who use gold-laced sugar and their sweet aroma to entice a woman to remain bound. Through promises of a white picket fence and 4 babies running in the yard, but it's a script. The words are purposely sewn into a beautiful tapestry that keeps the woman warm. But he has used that same tapestry to warm the shoulders of other women, just in case this rehearsed sonnet does not work on you, when, through repeated shatters of your heart, you start to smell the scent of the other women's shoulders. This, now that you really look at it, a frayed and weather-beaten frock loses its comfort and begins to scratch the skin. Barbed wires that cut deep and bleed you out. You narrowly escaped with your sanity in check, but it was enough to warn the other women of this Nosferatu with the golden tongue.
Girl, you've been holding back for me. That's amazing. Do you have another piece for us tonight by any chance?
Yes, I do actually. I'm gonna switch gears with that, since that's kind of like, throwing bars at the dude that inspired poem, and we all know who that is. You know
That's
who
all
that
right.
one is.
This is a safe place for that.
Yeah. Mhm. There's so many. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see here. I think this one. This is another dude that kind of inspired these. It's always either love or something else that inspires these types of poems with me. But this one is called Denver Airport Baggage Claim. And in tune for Valentine's Day. This one is, I'm a little nervous to read this one, so if I'm a little sporadic in how I read this, you're gonna have to forgive me. Again, it's called Denver Airport Baggage Claim. I marvel at the size of this place. Bring my attention back to the swirling carousel of luggage, searching for the small trinket that sets my Samsonite apart from all the others. Looking like they just got through 12 rounds in a prize fight, I finally see it and use my weak core to pull it up and out from its duplicates. It comes crashing down to the floor beneath me. I let out an exhausted sigh. Shall we go get Bernie? I whirl my head around. I see this beautiful tall man holding his small baby boy, eyes beaming in pride, happy to welcome me into his circle, into those big, strong, safe arms. We kiss, and the energy feels as if we are characters in a rom-com. Our eyes soft for each other, our hearts swollen with love.
I love that, Bernie. I love it so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh,
And for those of you who don't know, Bernie's my sister, and Bernie's first time reading on an open mic was on Lee's show, Woman Heart, was it last week? Feels like
Last week, yeah.
it feels like it was forever ago, just last week. So, I mean, there's definitely so much talent there. Like, Bernie, I'm so proud of you. I know you said you had poems. I've always heard your hot poems, and I'm like, you're my sister. I don't want to hear those. But these, yeah. Ever share your hot chili pepper poems, I'll just walk away for a minute. But please feel free to do so. Very proud of you. Thank you so much, Bernie.
Thank you.
woo, Bernie.
Go.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Next up, Lee, is who?
Give me a second as I adjust the pinning. There we go. The lovely Marianne.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Bernadette. That's really fantastic. My sister also put a toe into the poetry Zoomverse just a couple of months ago. So I hope you are going to be a regular visitor, as we all are.
Oh, I plan on
And
it.
congratulations to you, Emily, tonight. I'm really looking forward to hearing you. I guess I have a couple of short love poems to read. They are for my daughter, Julia, whom some of you may know is fighting the good fight in Panama, where she was airlifted last Thursday night after a grievous motorcycle accident. I wrote this for her after I happened to see a dead butterfly on the bleach-scented tile of a near-vacant scooter shop, where neither she nor I spoke the language. Orange butterfly rolled to her left with spotted wings, one atop the other, locked in the delicate stillness of prayer. As nature whispered, "A page has turned," my inner voice could not look away, for I know a new chapter will surely open in her life and mine. Before the fresh start comes the pause, like the bulb that rests in winter earth, yet rears a sunlit cup in spring. Change is the constant season, and inner strength rises with the hopeful green. Last Friday, I flew from Toronto to Panama to be with my daughter, and so happens that I cannot resist the urge to comb my fingers through her hair, run my palm across a stubbly lawn, to sift through a robin's nest filled with earth-toned memories, equal parts sand, blood, and L'Oreal, more honey Thacker than Anna Scott. I stand and sway to the techno beat of life-giving machines, grateful to give her this simple gift. She rouses and murmurs, "Mama, you keep pulling my hair." I choose to think I hear her say, "Please," and I hold fast to each striated strand as her tendrils vine ever closer around my heart. Thank you, poet friends.
Oh, that is absolutely stunning, beautiful. And sending you so much, sending your daughter so much healing energy, vibes, prayers, all of it. I'm wishing you the very, very best and for her to have a very quick and thorough healing journey. Okay. Do you have another poem that you'd like to read, or would you like to read for the second round, do you think maybe? If you're around still. I know that
Yes,
you leave at
yes,
8.
perhaps. I'm really happy to have read those two pieces tonight.
Thank you so
so
very
much.
much for sharing those.
Um,
Okay, please next. Oh,
I would like to first, let's give our flowers for the wonderful Marianne. Please unmute your mics and share some love. Woo! Thank you, Marianne.
Both of those pieces. Sending you love.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to say that Julia seems to be taking baby steps in the right direction, a critical condition. However, we're very grateful that she's with us and fighting the good fight. So I thank you so much for allowing me this tonight, and thank you especially to you, Emily, on your stage this evening.
Okay, Lee, who is next on
We
deck?
have Christy's scribbles. I am going to pin Christy now.
I just want to say hi to Nikki, yeah, and Emily, and I'm excited to be here. I'm going to be off camera, but I just wanted to say hi. Okay, here we go. I can't seem to stop going to that exact spot, that fucking spot of the fleck of myself, of the speck of myself that sits here again. I stand here again on the dot of the plot of that same exact spot, spot around around, going around the bend, going around the bend. I can't win, going around the bend, around again, going around the bend, to bend the corner, and circle the space all over the place, all over the place. I see the same face. She sees the same face. On the dot of the spot I can't get away from. She can't get away from. Run away, they say. Run away, they say. The spot's over here. The spot's over there. Run away, my child. Run away, stay away. Stay away from the blot of a spot on the dot of repeating, of repeating, of repeating. The whole world's depleting, depleting, depleting. The same spot always needing, always bleeding, to end up in the drop of the spot of the same, always the same, always the same. Speck of a dot of a spot standing here, back again, they say. Never when they say back again today. Always here this way, in this spot, this spot. I am here. Here again, I am here on the dot of a spot. That is me. Always trying to leave this spot on the floor. That is here, that is me. Always trying to leave this exact fucking spot of this exact fucking dot. Back again, they say. Never when they say. Back again today. Never when they say. The same spot of today. Here again, on the dot of the spot that is me, this spot of myself that I am in again, never to win, always again, never to win, always again, always again. Thank you.
That is beautiful. That's so haunting, Christy. I love that. Wow, everyone, please let's give her flowers.
Oh,
Amazing.
fantastic.
Wow. Christy, have you ever heard of a singer-songwriter named Diane Cluck by any chance?
I have not. I will write it down.
I think you
Look
should
it
check her
up.
out. She's one of my favorite independent singer-songwriters, and there's so much similarity. I love her, and I loved your piece. And I think that you would definitely, I think you get a kick out of hearing her. She's wonderful, as were you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, we have one more person for round one, and that is Prolific. Thank you so much for being here. Are you ready for us?
Well, originally I came here just to support you, Miss Nikki.
Aw.
And I want to give you your flowers because you're such a fantastic person. You're a fantastic poet. But it's amazing that as great as you are as a poet, you're even higher when it comes to your character from what I've seen in the couple of years that I've been associated with you. So, I basically came here just to support you, but I will do a piece briefly. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Prolific Pro Poet. I'm currently planning my second national tour. I am a traveling touring artist throughout the country. And this is one of the pieces that I'm going to be highlighting during this year's tour. 2 stops from Jupiter, across the street from heaven, I met you. I get you didn't want just anybody to get you, but I want to get you to understand. then I'm going to make it my life's work to try to stay your man. You make Jennifer Lopez and Scarlett Johansson look average. Lady, my love for you is full blown. You're my costilla, my rib. For me, loving you is genetic. You're in my blood. You're in my DNA. And there's no MD, PhD, or CNA that can convince me any differently. Because you and me got more chemistry than college lab class. And the feelings we have for one another are going to last longer than a wedding album. And people are going to say regarding us that he can't live without her and she can't live without him. An album will be written, inspired by the care we share for one another, because we're closer than any sister and brother or son and mother or any other love this earth has ever seen. Though I'm not a king, I'm going to treat you like royalty and loyally give you all that I am, because I trust you. And I wish I could fall in love with you again 1 billion times, and at the same time write you 1 billion rhymes that expresses the depth of my love for you. But it's impossible to use language, whether verbal or written, to tell how I'm smitten by you, and then too I'm willing to travel this earth 1,000 times. I'm willing to fight with 1,000 lions. Yes, this is the truth, no lying. And from the depths of my soul, I'm trying to show you that I need us, bleed us. Girl, I eat, live, and breathe us, and I always will. But yet again, my friend, you ask, how intense is my love for you? Well, lady, the fire and love that burns inside of me for you burns with the intensity and heat of over 10,000 suns. In my eyes, you are the one of ones, worth more than every other woman and everything in this world times 10. I'm going to love you until the day that all time ends and ends again. And I'm always going to be happy as long as I have you in my life as friend. In my life, you are the beginning and the end. Yes, you're truly my friend of friends. So baby, thanks for loving me. Yes, pretty girl, keep loving me, because if you do, our love is sure to go right down in history. And it's no mystery that I want you more than my next heartbeat. Because as long as I knew that I truly had you, baby girl, I could accept death. That's how intense my love is. That's that piece.
Ooh, everyone give some flowers. Lord, that was
Woo! That was
wow.
fire, complete fire.
That's why I wanted him to read. I was like, you have to read. Oh my goodness. Thank you so, so much. That is amazing. Amazing.
Thank you
Wow.
so much. And by the way, I want to say that you all are doing such a fantastic job at hosting. And I'm so proud of you, Nikki, for everything that you do as a mother, as an artist, and really, really appreciate you allowing me to be able to participate in this. And I just want to, give everybody who performed tonight credit and respect, because this is not an easy thing to do. So if any of you all want to follow me, you definitely can give me a follow on Instagram at ProPoet01. It's right there next to my name. I am going to be, like I said, doing my second national tour. Last year was a success, and so I'm doing a second one. So if I am going to be in one of your cities, definitely look me up. I will be posting it. And if you want me to come to your city and perform, definitely I'm open to making money. So definitely.
As we all are. Thank you so much. And that's a great segue to remind me, if you would like to put your socials, please do so now before we start with the feature. Put your socials up there in the chat so that we can connect outside of this open mic, okay? Definitely follow Prolific. I love his accounts. Even like when I was not writing for a while, I took a break, I would look on his account because he had these wonderful posts just about mental health issues and narcissism, which, many of us have, unfortunately, that in our surroundings, in our families and such. So it was just even interesting just for that. But of course, the poetry, I mean, you all heard it tonight. So please make sure that you're following each other. Let's support each other. Let's grow those audiences. Drop those socials in the chat. Okay. And also, if you have any events, if you're hosting any events, if you have anything coming up, if you have a book that you've published, a chapbook, if you have a chapter in an anthology, post it here, right? This is the place. You have no idea if someone is listening and wants to hear more. Okay. All right. I think now is the time for our feature. Am I right, Lee?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So let me read a bio here. This is an interesting bio too. I need to work on my bio. I wish it was halfway as interesting as Emily's. So Emily, now you tell me the pronunciation. I should have asked you this beforehand. Cordes or Cordes? Cordes?
I mean, Cordis, yeah.
Cordes. Okay, Emily Cordes is a Brooklyn, New York-based actress, writer, theater maker, and arts marketer fundraiser. She hails from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and is a graduate of Smith College and Columbia University. She has performed in various plays, films, and web productions throughout the tri-state area, and co-created devised theater with such groups as No Dominion Theater Company and the Laboratory of Soul. Emily is a founding member of the feminist theater group Tapestry Collective. In this role, she has co-written, produced, and performed in several devised plays, including Stella Maris, 2017, and So Sad, So Sexy, 2022, the latter of which was made possible with support from the Puffin Foundation. She's premiered off-Broadway to sold-out houses at the Tank in New York City and received positive press from such online publications as Stage Buddy and Thinking Theater New York City. In October 2020, she co-produced New York Seeing 2020, an evening of virtual monologues to benefit the Nuyorican Poets Cafe and the Artist Relief Fund, and performed in the showcase as Theodora in Vanguard Gale's Bat Scat Fever. Emily has been a featured guest on the 105 Way and Poets of the East podcasts, and has hosted and facilitated tarot and poetry workshops for such online platforms as Fincabulary, Poetry Global Network, and The World is Right. She's a staff writer for the blog Theater is Easy, and her articles and theater reviews have been featured in HowlRound, CultureBot, and the Theater Times. Her poetry collections Queen of Swords 2023 and Armful of Poppies 2021 were published by Redder Green. I always forget that. Redder Green Books. And her poem Burn was featured in the anthology Love Letters to Gaia. Gaia? Okay, I'm done now. Gaia, thank you. She is a former employee of the Nuyorican Poets Cafe and frequents their online and in-person open mics. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Emily Cordes.
Woohoo!
Hi, thank you.
Woo!
Let's spotlight her. And Emily, whenever you're ready to begin, if you want to ask for a time check, we'll give you that as well. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to Nikki and Leah for having me break the seal on what will be an illustrious hosting career. So I am gonna read some new stuff from my book Queen of Swords. This just came out in November from Redder Green Books. I will drop all the details in the chat. But it uses the tarot as a thematic sort of organizing principle. You can feel free to ask me questions about that at the end, but the Queen of Swords is kind of one of the cards in the tarot that's been kind of a big symbolic thing for me lately. So I'm going to read a couple poems here and start off with the title one, Queen of Swords. This was written also sort of as a reference to a very dear friend and mentor of a lot of us in the community, Eric Words Maldonado, aka Advocate of Words. He likens the poetic ability to a sword that we carry around. We can use it to knight people, or we can use it to cut people. And so without further ado, I'm going to read Queen of Swords. In the wise words of wise words, poets wield their gifts like swords, to knight the worthy or cut as they choose. Used justly, they'll illuminate. Used carelessly, can obfuscate. Used cruelly, can impale or maim or bruise. I've been the Queen of Cups, chalice offered up in love. Been Queen of Wands with fiery torch ablaze. I've nurtured Empress gardens and unwound the devil's snares, but this tower's crumbling and it's time to raise. So I'll unsheath my sword, hoist it high and say no more, to protect or sever as befits the day. Toxic tongues hiss in my ear, wormy thoughts of hate or fear. I shrug them off. My court is not their place. And I'll be just, but won't adjust my borders to house bullshit from fools who won't accept their proper station. And my queendom will be beacon for my kindred cross the globe, the people of the quill and brush and stage. And with our sword pens brandished, we'll inscribe in air and fire 1,000 different worlds of our creation. Thank you. That's Queen of Swords. So
Beautiful.
thank you. This next one, I wrote this, oh, excuse me, stretching my mouth here. I wrote this about a year ago. One of the things that inspires me a lot is my surrounding environment. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and about a year ago, somebody abandoned an alligator in the pond in Prospect Park. I think they thought it was just must have been someone's like exotic pet that they just kind of like up and left there. And I'm in a writers group, and we do different challenges each week, and one was to write a villanelle. So I wrote a villanelle tribute to Godzilla, the Prospect Park alligator, called Gators and Swans. An alligator gentrified the pond. Invasive beast by God and man reviled, or perhaps she reclaimed it from the swans. A species Brooklyn's ample hills ne'er spawned, or ancestor from days the land was wild. An alligator gentrified the pond. Her presence shocking birds and park slope moms. False fledgling left exposed like bastard child, returned to reclaim sovereignty from swans. For natives in this country don't last long, from swamps and marshlands of their births exiled by predators who gentrify the ponds and hold this fragile planet in their jaws, while mutant creatures o'er the spoils preside, and bloodied rising suns claim moths and swans. May seraphs armored fierce with scales and claws receive thee, for earth shuns its meek and mild. Godzilla, fallen hero of the pond, reclaiming urban wastelands from the swans. So yeah, in the spirit of the season, I'm going to read a couple of poems, some love focused stuff, and some things that are just sort of shout outs to the people and the places and the things that I love. This is called Abrazado. This is a tribute to a friend of mine who is a musician and body worker. There's some Spanish in here. My apologies to native speakers. This is not my native tongue. I do my best. Okay, so this is Abrazado for Yemanjo. Angel's trumpet, shaman's hands, eleva mi cuerpo, call my spirit home again. Your reveille awakens me each morning, each rising sun a portal to rebirth, reminding me that peace begins within us. Y con el fe y con la gracia juntos, construimos un cielito here on earth. Your agua de estrellas, a repeated incantation, played on a loop to calm mi corazón, or the bass-pounding heartbeats of your dance sets, reverbs so deep it feels like they're my own. Ecstatic communion spread out across the planet, from the jungles to the mountains, chosen families converge. The music is the medicine, bonds formed in sweat and ecstasy, 1,000 bodies rising, voices merge. We learn to trust, en este largo caminar, that when we walk together, sé que vamos a llegar. Each year, your hands and songs return to hold me. New meanings and new dawns with every turn. A force moves across my skin like water soothing, earth to ground me, a balm for every large and tiny burn. Celebrations at each apex, benedictions before battle, unwinding muscles coiled with cold or hardened for defense. Winged heels in constant motion, calves spasm pinched and tense. An urban pollinator, seeding blossoms in cement. My place is here, yours soaring round the planet. Un cóndor siempre pasando, keeping pace throughout the seasons, gifting us the beat and the joy of simply being, without mandate or apology, our only task to inhale and receive. Give my small hands the fire of los ancestros, the strength to hold my people high and send them off with love. I'll lift my candle, raise my cup in darkness that surrounds us, dance when I'm cracked wide open in the freedom and the blood. Strip bandages like 7 veils, unpeeling every layer. Glide in on blistered feet in reverent grace. Palms opened ever outward, lifted up to greet the heavens, to bestow and to implore and to embrace. The hands through which we pass flow like the rivers of our lives. De los que nos dan a la luz, to those that shut our eyes. And if the spirit moving us can pass between los manos, I'll be forever blessed to pass entre tuyos, hermano. So may our souls keep dancing in the ether, on the floor, the touch, the key to open every door. Thank you. This next one's a little bit of a shorter one. It's called Love Letters. Hopefully I can find it. I should have bookmarked this. Give me just a moment. Sorry, I let's see, that's the problem with the book. You gotta kind of find your way sometimes. Let's see, love letters. Okay. Okay, love letters. I love letters, much in the same way that I love people, alone for their simplicity and truth, and for the things they can create when joined. Okay, got one more for you called 4 and 20 Blackbirds. Then I'm going to do a little something I like to do with this particular book, is open it up for a little audience participation. Nothing too intimidating. Don't be scared. But that you guys are going to help me pick what I read after this one. So let me find 4 and 20 Blackbirds. Momentito. Let's see. Sorry. There we go. Okay, here we go. 4 and 20 Blackbirds. Humble pie has come to taste like shit. My whole body puckers at each bite. Once a staple on my menu, now it's just a bitter lemon, stimulating indigestion as I chew through the tough and fibrous rinds. Depression-era cookbooks are ingenious. Desserts concocted to withstand hard times. Wacky cakes buoyed up with seltzer, Ritz and cinnamon turned apples, even vinegar and water into custard alchemized. And it served to fill their bellies, and it served to stave off misery, and it served to tide them over till the brighter days arrived. I've survived my own depression, danced in flames of a pandemic, felt the ebb and flow recession of the shifting ocean tides, done my penance in the desert, just desserts duly accepted, broke apart and came together, jello molded my own life. So I'm tired of feeling guilty, supplicating crumbs of decency as I bake and serve my innards Sweeney style. China plates laid out for critics who can't take the heat of kitchens, sneer at me with sheer derision, casting sugar before swine. When sweetness lives around me, swirled at fairs and cooled on windowsills, I'll step up to the table, make a claim for what is mine. And you can take back all the crows that I've ingested, and robed for sorrow, shrouded all in black. Those 4 and 20 avians can flee their pastry prison. There's better things to bake. I'll light my spliff and set my oven at 420. Kick back and relax with those who know abundance is our birthright and aren't afraid to share an extra slice. So when I get the munchies, I'll roll right with the punches, and guiltlessly I'll know to set aside those promises like crusts so quickly broken, and take these broken wings and learn to fly. Thank you. Okay, it's audience participation time. So one thing that I have found about this book is that, like a tarot reading, the way it likes to be shared is to have the energy of the group determine how it's to be read. So what I'm going to do is ask you guys for a number between 1 and 151. Okay, we got 57 already. Maybe we'll just do 2. Nikki, do we have time to do like maybe 2 audience participations? Okay, cool. We'll do 57 and 1 more, and I'm going to read a poem on that, whatever poem is on that page. Yep, bibliomancy. There we go, bibliomancy. See, we got 57. Okay, this one gets picked a lot. Okay, we got 57, and then we got 42. Okay, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful one to end on, number 42. So this is Kitten's Gate. This is a poem I wrote for a friend I had a falling out with, whose birthday was August 8th, which is called the Lion's Gate Day. So this is called Kitten's Gate. Your spirit entered through the lion's portal. Happy birthday. May your day be sweet. I only spent it with you once in all our years of friendship. From illnesses to fights to absence, that gate kept on sticking. The stars, I find, would never quite align for you and me. You're still a child in many ways, though 5 years separate us. Wide-eyed despite the wounds that you've sustained. Sweet-faced and photogenic as the kitten you adopted. I sit here with my old girl, balding, anxious. You prance through endless carnivals, the lights and glitter, cotton candy haze intoxicating. And you, the main attraction, blowing kisses, blown out mane tossed on display. A self-appointed ring mistress, cracked whips and rattling chains. Forgetting junkie audiences just seek stimulation, collecting new stuffed animals, the pastel triumphs of a low-stakes game, small trophies brandished, just as soon abandoned, tramped in the dust of garbage-strewn midways. And now by choice we're distant, strangers in each other's lives. You show up on my radar, in my newsfeed just sometimes, oft on the heels of idle thoughts, through screen-shaped portals, pallid poltergeist I've accidentally summoned, carelessly invoked 3 times, like the Burton ghouls in last year's photos, leering smiles behind us as we shriek laughed. Unfazed that day by silly childhood phantoms, as by your party's acid-fueled dramatics. Bemused and buzzed enough on lighter stuff to just sit back. Watch irises unfold kaleidoscopic as you preened in sunflower fields midst nodding blossoms, Queen's birthday crowned in rings of hazy gold. Embarrassed that I still get frightened after all this time, when you emerge to rattle nerves, scratch windows, I forget. The keys and Palo Santo wands are mine, and I can banish like a mage, cut cords and close that door at any time. Your current flame seems nice enough, if photos can divine this. I hope to Goddess that he treats you right. Not like the Gothic goblins you adored despite abuse, Pluto's to your Proserpina, sucking sunshine from your life. Despite what's past, I'd still jump fire to save you, rage righteously like Durga on her tiger, avenging scourge like Sekhmet. But now I realize it never was my place to give unbidden the things for which your soul must journey inward, traversing through your private hell to find. May this year and this day bring transformation. May bridges raised to ashes light the way. May fires through which you pass turn into portals, and ones you set become new pyres sacred, and all life's immolations leave you less scarred and more changed, not just a kitten, but your lion's birthright, as fierce as you are tender, finding strength. Thank you. And this very last poem is called The Sun. This is a beautiful one to end on. Appreciation is the purest form of love because it asks for nothing but its own existence. Thank you all. Thank you. And that on that note, thank you all. This is Queen of Swords. You can purchase it online at Red or Green Books. I'm going to drop all my links and info in the chat. That's where you can find me.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. I hope you look through the chat after we're done talking so that you can see all the flowers, all the love that was dropped there for you. Incredible job. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Let's all give our flowers to Emily. Amazing. Thank
Woohoo!
you.
I wanted to say
Hey.
specifically to Emily that what I appreciated about your work is the fact that you are a master at concepts. To me, concepts are one of the most integral parts of being able to be an effective writer. And that story about the alligator and how you were able to break that down, and the metaphors and the visuals that you gave us was absolutely spectacular. So I definitely want to give you props on that, and thank you for sharing your gift of metaphors and concepts.
Thank you. Thank you. And right back at you. Fantastic. You got some fantastic stuff there. Thank you for being part of this.
Awesome. All right, so I have some questions for you now.
All right.
Okay, we'll begin with, so generally we get this question often, like what has inspired you to write, or how did you begin writing? But I'd like to ask you instead, and I guess this is selfish, what keeps you writing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, writing is how I make sense of life. It's how I process things. It's how I interpret the world. I feel like a lot of times I just feel like it kind of is me translating stuff into my own language, whether that's my emotions, whether that's events in the world, whether that's just things that I see and experience. I think it's kind of a matter of just understanding and interpretation. And I also believe that, if you're able to share that with the world and it speaks to someone, then, that's you living your purpose.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your process when you're writing. Are there any specific things that you do? Do you have to get into the mood? This is a very general question. I'm going to let you fill in the blanks how you see fit. It could be about how you write, whether it's on the computer versus pen and paper. Tell us anything that you'd like to share about your process.
It can vary. I mean, sometimes stuff just kind of pours out of me. I get an idea and I just have to get it down. Other times I kind of have to work on it a little more. I'm a fan of prompts. I'm a fan of just excuses to just kind of throw caution to the wind and just kind of have fun and go for it. I think I think it's kind of I'm very fond of the saying, inspiration comes, but it has to find you working. So I think sometimes it's a lot of the inspiration and momentum just kind of comes in the doing of it. And other times then organic inspiration comes. But I think it's just a matter of, showing up for your work, continuously, and stuff just kind of moves.
Absolutely. What's your revision process look like?
I write things on my notes app for a reason, so I can delete stuff. I am not a huge fan of writing on pen and paper because I will just be like crossing and scratching and erasing and stuff. So definitely a lot of deleting and typing and stuff. I read stuff over and over again just to see kind of how it sounds, how it's hitting. And sometimes when I'm writing a poem, but I don't even know exactly the words for it, I'll just kind of write down like what's sort of the idea I want to convey, or like what are some things or some feelings or some images I definitely want to make sure I get in there. And a lot of it's just kind of reworking and polishing it until it just kind of clicks.
Has your experience in theater influenced your writing? And if so, how? And also vice versa.
I would definitely say, the two inform each other. I mean, performing poetry versus playing a character on stage are very different animals, but I do feel like, kind of I've been an actor much longer than I've been reading my poetry out loud. So I feel like I kind of had a bit of an advantage just kind of knowing how to perform going into it. But I think that, a lot of I've written poems about theater. I've also kind of done a little bit of playwriting a little bit more recently, and a lot of my theater writing contains like kind of very vivid or poetic imagery. So I think that art and one's self-expression, you know, can get channeled in many different ways. And I think that theater and poetry are really kind of two branches of the same tree for me.
Interesting. And are there any topics or themes that you find or like you particularly find yourself writing about or not writing about?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I gravitate to in general. My work does tend to have kind of more of a feminist bent. And I'm inspired a lot by like mythology, by spirituality. I'm inspired just kind of by the creative process itself. A lot of my poems in my book are about like kind of the experience of being an artist. My personal life, my personal growth, and my emotional journey too. Queen of Swords was actually reflective of a time where I was kind of really growing a lot as a person. And one of the lessons of the last couple of years is like a lot about like learning about boundaries and honoring that in myself, standing up for myself. And I think a lot of the poems in there reflect that too. And of course, with this tarot has been such a huge influence for my more recent work, as the title in the book would imply. So that's just a whole big source of inspiration with all the archetypes and such.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? You do readings and you do activities, don't you? With
Yeah.
tarot, can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I've been reading tarot almost as long as I've been writing poetry, actually, since I was like in middle school. And I more recently, like the last couple of years, I've been hosting tarot and poetry workshops. It's basically kind of, you know, using the cards as prompts, because tarot is, when you kind of boil it down, it's a lot of symbolism and archetypes, and it can mean a lot for a lot of different people. So I've found the cards can be really great jumping off points for poetic inspiration. So that's been a fun new thing for me, kind of combining the two. And the book actually kind of, it started out with the concept, the Queen of Swords, and the title poem and the metaphor of that. And then I was hosting these workshops, and I kind of got into my head like, hey, I should write like a tarot themed poetry collection, and everything just kind of like coalesced around that kind of central motif.
So interesting. I'm sure a lot of us would like to join that, who haven't done so before. And my last question, or I guess my little petition to you, could you give some tips or advice for those who are in the audience today, who are new writers or readers? Any suggestions or tips for them?
Yeah, I would just say go for it. I mean, I think, you know, if you feel called to write, you know, answer that call. Just get stuff down on paper, revise it, share it. You know, it's like everyone kind of goes through a process of revision. Shitty first drafts are a thing, but I think it's just if you have the courage to not only just go for it, but to keep showing up for your work. And even if that's just in like a small way, like you write a line every day or whatever, I think just it's just the act of, you know, committing to something and consistently, you know, devoting yourself to the practice, that really does go a long way.
Excellent. Again, thank you so very much. Such beautiful imagery. Again, please read all the comments in the chat, because everyone had a great time tonight listening to you. Thank you so much for joining us and for being our first feature on Pen and Sword. Thank you.
Woo, Emily, woo!
Yes, everybody, go ahead. One more time, please. Wonderful.
It's amazing. So good.
So we do have one more round. Before we go into that round, I just want to remind everyone, I know some people may need to head out. So before you do, if you're able, you know, please give to Tesoro. Lee, would you mind just putting that information one more time in the chat? If you would like to give to Tesoro, 90% of the donation goes to the artist who is featuring, and then 10% goes to the organization. Again, I can attest to that actually happens. And this organization does so much for female poets, and I hope that you can support us. All right, so we have one more round. I think just to make sure that we keep with time, if it's okay, let's do one poem each. Particularly if you read before. Jane, since you didn't read before, if you have two, please feel free to share. Everyone else, if you could do one. And I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to. I'm just going to ask Andrea, would you like to read? Just want to give you that option. Erica, and if Sarah's there, if you guys would like to read, let me know. If not, it's totally okay. Let me know.
Andre says,
Andrea.
sure.
Yay. Excellent. Don't you worry, Andrea. Again, this is a loving, supportive, you hear us. We're a loving, supporting community. We are here for you, particularly those who are new to the mic. We are so supportive of you all because everyone was so supportive of me. And I don't think that I'd be doing this if people weren't. So got to give that back. Okay. So let's begin with Jane, please. Thank you so much, Jane, for joining us this evening. If you're ready. If not, we can come back to you. Okay, she might have stepped away just for a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with oh gosh, Andrea. You're up, boo.
This is slightly unfortunate. Okay, so just full disclosure, I've never read aloud. This is a draft I never finished, and I had no intention of reading tonight, but listening helped. So thank you for bearing with me. All right, this is called The Weight of Growing Things. On the third day, I boxed the Legos, the books, and the games we used to play. No cleanup song. Instead, self-imposed silence fit for a hanging. I tore the dirty bed sheets off your bed, trying to remember the last time I tucked you in with a chapter of a book or a poorly sung song. I tried to fill my chest with stones and anchors as I plowed through your old schoolwork, dust-covered photos, a dark charcoal self-portrait from an art class you barely passed. You were all smiles, Dungeons and Dragons, and video games and anime, and I don't know when you turned the corner, but your tension is not all that you left behind that day. You shouldered a gray Jansport, a trash bag of clothes, weed, sneakers, and some heavy fuck it attitude. I don't recognize the posters on your wall or the cologne you prefer. You forgot your razor and your toothbrush. Well, I hope your dad gives a shit. My chest stretches and burns with the weight of growing things. It shouldn't fit, but I shove your whole room into a chasm that's opened overnight. Or did it slowly begin to crack when your voice did? Anyway, I couldn't let any dust settle. I swept the little witnesses away. I saged the doors, the dark corners, mopped the floor where you threw yourself to avoid my blows. By the afternoon, the empty room echoed ricochet of words I didn't mean to say but had to, because a stranger looked at me through almond eyes I used to sing lullabies into. By the end of day 3, there was nothing left but your keys because I made you leave them, and I toss and I turn into day 4, taking inventory of my burning chest. When did keys get so heavy? All right, that's it, because
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I knew you were going to be amazing. I knew you were going to be terrific. Oh,
Holy cow, that was
fun.
awesome.
Hello.
Amazing.
I'm trying to compose myself. Thank you for
And
hearing
of
that.
course, your first poem is going to be one that's so full of emotion too. I know, as I know Andrea very well. Thank you so much for sharing something personal, something so beautiful. Just want to say from a technical aspect, what a voice you have, what a flow you have, particularly for this being your first time and being nervous and it being something so close to your heart. That was amazing, Andrea. So keep writing, please. And whenever you can, ditch the kickboxing. No, let me say, whenever you can, come to this or come to Woman Heart or come to any of the open mics and just start like flexing that muscle because you've got it, girl. You definitely have it. Thank you. All right, amazing. Okay, so Jane is not spinning tonight, but thank you so much for coming and supporting us. I appreciate that so much. Just having you in the room is such an honor. Thank you so much. So who is next on the deck, Lee?
That would be Ed Putastic.
Let's go, Ed.
Woo! Thank you for making me feel fantastic. Woo! Thank you for being so thank you for making me feel fantastic. Thank you for making me so enthusiastic. Sorry about that. Sorry to be so drastic. All right, this is my first piece. This month is Black History Month, and this is a Black History piece. This is called Pitch Black Unity. A mighty wise man once said he had a dream. A material legacy flows like a rushing stream. It's more powerful to take a large brick than to hold a gun. It shows more strength to be an iron wall than a mock sun. African American freedom fighters who are departed but not forgotten, the lively spirits leave our beating hearts less rotten. Their fearless sacrifice hasn't been tarnished or in vain. God knows they suffer from barking ignorant, whipping stupidity, and biased reign. In the last dying breaths, they never cursed, bellowed, or raged with ill will. Their heroic impact gave the hooded phantoms deep panic, fears, and chills. Our ancestors were bound in rusty, rallying, clinging chains. Their ironclad determination helped us deal with the isolating pains. They suffer and agonize the darkness to bring us into the plainest light. Some you carelessly toss away a hunger for spite. The unforeseen burns of backstabbing by ignorant whites and even against ourselves. Yet people forgetting that book on the shelves. It's not easy being a big black ink blot on a white canvas. We're trying to get this rage and stress off a roaring chest. Fighting and shouting, killing like blinding guns isn't the answer. Just spread the venomous river of hate so much faster. Hate never loves, but only exterminates and destroys. Please be mindful that we're human beings and not mindless toys. Bitter vengeance is a dish left freezing cold. Is it really satisfactory to deliver punishment sevenfold? It's easy to build instead of burn bridges. Everyone knows it's better to heal than to dig ditches. It doesn't matter if you're red, black, or white. Let's bury the hatchet and fight the good fight. There's strength in numbers, so let's become an enormous radiant sun. Let's make our voices, struggles, and powers into one. Black history isn't supposed to be celebrated in just 1 month. Let's give ancient white bigotry one massive dynamite punch. Thank you.
Woo! Epotastic.
Thank you so much. We have a request, Emily, after this next round. If you could just do at least just one more poem, if you're comfortable with that, just because Jane
I
came by.
got you, girl. I got you.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay. And I also just wanted to put out there, I know that Jennifer and Lawrence are in the audience. Again, no pressure, but if you'd like to read, just put your name in the chat because you haven't had a chance yet, and you're more than welcome to if you'd like. Okay. Who is next?
Bernadette, if Bernadette would like to read something else.
I'm here. Let me just put the video on here so you can see me. Hold on. Okay. So this one is called Roadmap, and it's about aging, how your body, your face, and everything changes. So that's kind of like the backstory to this one at the time that I wrote this. Okay. Roadmap. The creases in my visage tell a story. Some details will be quite gory, of chances missed and men I have kissed, of experiences I've had, some happy, some sad, of boiling rage and feeling caged, of moments of clarity and instances of disparity, of being proud of my biology and second-guessing my psychology, mistrust and disgust, fear and bravery, freedom and slavery, wants and needs, plucking the weeds, always tending to my yard, circumstances making it hard. But because I'm firm, I'd never squirm, bend, or contort, deceive, or distort this visage, which tells my story, my gory, gory story.
Oh, let's give her some flowers. I love that.
Woo!
Bernie,
Thank you,
can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. I love these.
I'll tell them all to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's go on to who is next on our deck.
It is literally Emily, and then for my closing poem.
Excellent. Let's go.
All right, we are back. Hey Jane, so in your honor, do you want to give me a number so I can pick the poem? And if not we can do another one. I'm kind of open. 23. Okay, we got number 23. All right, Nikki's gonna give me 23. Let's see what we got here. Oh yes, this one's good. I was kind of thinking about doing this one, so this is perfect. Dude, group intelligence. We got 23 around here. Okay, so I am a huge Frida Kahlo nerd. I got to visit her home in Mexico City last year. It was a true religious experience. And this is called Frida's Revenge. It's almost a trope to claim Kahlo as one's shiro, exotic and artistic in the vein of white blonde girls enshrouded in white sage, Urban Outfitters shawls and Coachella war bonnets, self-care con sabor, a bobo brunch drink garnish. And as a dorky white girl, I claim no right to her. My truth, a vintage record just shy of hipster vinyl, stutter skipping stereotypes as I'm trying to tread lightly in this newly gentrified backyard, hoping my presence won't superimpose juice presses over batidos, subletting at gouged prices the space our bodies stole. But who among us, slightly dark and fertile souls, can't see ourselves behind the arch of batwing eyebrows, playing hide and seek as we peek through window slats in ribs, and wake each day to repair and unwind our tangled souls and fix the crumbling columns of our spines, our árboles de vida, engirded in 1,000 thorny vines, but standing tall like beacons in the night, as we hold our bleeding doubles, hands and throats and beating hearts entwined by one thin red umbilical, we toe that finest line between folk art cliche and archetype, the wounded healer Chiron, with a body not quite human, not quite something else entirely. We walkers between worlds, skilled swappers of 1,000 skins and forms. Like self-stitched dresses, memories adorn us, painted on the plaster corsets that ensconce our mortal bodies, frail and wild. We wear our pain and are strange like jewelry, not the cheap kind, pretty bleeding valentines, on sale for tipsy tourists, charmingly commodified, but trophies like the bones of what we conquered, proof it couldn't kill us, though it tried. For living well's the best revenge, and it's the highest victory, to make your art into a work of life. Thank you.
Woo!
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that encore read. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, and now to close out the night, again, thank you so much to everyone who came this evening and who shared this evening. And those who just came to listen, thank you so much for that as well. We
Okay,
don't
cool.
have,
Can I just hop in and thank Emily for doing another piece? Thank
Yes.
you, Emily.
Anything for you, Mama.
I will watch the re-recording of it when she rebroadcasts it, but thank you so much.
and thank you for being here, Jane. Okay, so we don't have the next date specifically ready for Woman Heart or for Pen and Sword, but we will have that posted on our IG. So please do check it out. And we will have those dates posted soon. And to close out tonight, we have my wonderful co-hostess who saved me in so many ways this evening. Love her to death already. Poet Lee, please share.
All right. Okay, so this is one of the poems from my Stone Coast MFA sample. Some of you may have heard it before, some of you have not. Magnolias. I was brought into a land of giants spidering across the bayou, cicadas humming their harmonicas, moss creeping on tombstones, and streets flooding with embalming fluid. I was brought into the world on a hot December day through a prayer. Lord, please grant me a little girl with bright red hair, and I'll name her the prettiest name I've ever heard, Nona Lee. Nona Lee, the grandmother I know from a painted magnolias blooming in the life cycle of maiden, mother, and crone. A bud about to twist open its petals, a pregnant bloom dancing ball-gowned, falling to post-abscission, curling inwards as babies leave the nest and the flower asks, what do I do next? Nona Lee, who married into a bloodline that came to these lands hunting for greener pastures to shapeshift grasses into cold hard cash by means of sweat and by means of blood, praying to God, but praying louder to the almighty dollar. Nona Lee, who watched her heritage be buried on a magnolia tree by a woman in a sundress, wearing long gloves stretching to her elbows, a big southern lady hat shading her face and shoulders, and papers hungry for a percentage of blood, moaning in an esoteric tongue. Nona Lea, who was supposed to have been Nona Lee if the doctor didn't take creative liberties. And while this might not be a legally binding document, we can correct that mistake today and call you by your mother-given name, Nona Lee. Nona Lee, do you know what your name means? I've searched our meaning in as many languages that it'll take to find a secret meaning, a sort of connection, a hidden heritage to you. You see, all my life people have been asking, what's your real name? Because they think Nona must be a nickname for something like Winona or Ramona. Since the name is so alien to their ears, it sounds like the static mutterings of a scratch record, and they are certain the lyrics they heard are wrong. So they call me names they think my name should be. Nina, Mona, Rona, Nikki, Julie, Barbara, Janie. Those who recognize my name tell me in Italian Nonna means grandmother, and they ask if my parents purposely named me an old lady. Though, when actually translated, English adds extra N, making the name Nana matching with the pattern Mama, and when I inform them of this, their all-knowing grins tilt down, and they still struggle to swallow my name. But Nona is not an official name. It is not misheard. It is not wrong. She finds her roots in ancient Rome as the name given to the ninth daughter because her name is synonymous with the number 9. But she is not just a number. Nona is the fate who spins a thread of life, and as pregnancy is 9 months, as the baby spins in the womb from a thread connected to its mother, the number and the goddess become intertwined. While it's not clear which came first, the goddess or the prefix, and while most baby name blogs suggest the number was paired before the goddess, no Roman in their right mind would ever name a number before naming a goddess. Therefore, all Nonas are not, by definition, numbers, but goddesses. Nona Lee, did you know you shared your name with a goddess? Did you also know that Lee means clearing or meadow or grasslands? So when you combine the meanings of your first and middle name, it becomes the goddess of the flowering grasslands who spins life from her spindle. Isn't that just beautiful for someone who loved to garden? I was told you always wear this big sun hat, gloves reaching to your elbows, and you toil flowers and vegetables, wearing a sleeved dress coming down to your ankles. Even when the sun could sizzle butter in a cast iron pan, even when the humidity purled on your cheeks, you'd wear that whole outfit. Because if the sun got a hold of your skin, it would turn brown red, and back then, and still today, the only skin type it was safe to be matched with was egg whites. While Lee means grasslands, my name, Lea, means delicate or weary, and I am very weary of its masculine variation, because even though my eyes are just like yours and have resisted colonization, my skin right now is tanned and still white as my damn bones. See, Lee is a name associated with Confederacy. I'm sure you can find a statue of him somewhere down in the boot state. I don't want a name associated with a legacy of slavery that people with American and Confederate flags called just a dispute of states' rights and has nothing to do with slavery. And while your name would mean a goddess who created life, mine, if spelled Lee, not Lea, would imply the opposite. But I'm rather fond of the meaning of my name as it's now, the weary goddess who spins life from her spindle, because I am so fucking tired of people asking where my name comes from. I still don't know why your mother named you Nona Lee, and I still don't know why, even though you painted other flowers, watercolor lilies in cracked ceramic pots, you painted magnolias most beautifully. When my mother wasn't looking, I often traced the grooves of the strokes, following the vanilla curves of the blooming petals, the waxy large leaves, staring at the signature at the bottom of the frame with a personality quieter than my own. Maybe you painted them so beautifully because giant flowers blooming from a land of tombstones, mosquitoes, and slick stagnant mud with startlingly white petals standing in sheer defiance of the miasma are magical. Maybe, like the magnolias, you also want to be remembered as beautiful. To me, your name's beautiful. Rest in peace, Nona Lee.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you for everything and for that read. Everyone, thank you again so much for joining us. I hope it wasn't a complete disaster. I think it went well. Thank you to Emily, our wonderful feature. Thank you, Lee, for everything. And thank you all for coming, and hope to hear from you all and see you again next month. Take care, everyone.
Hi.